Good morning, and welcome to my ongoing channel on politics, which will help you know more about what has happened or is happening in the world right now. Our main headlines today will be the recent protests in Thailand, with supporters of former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra protesting against those that oppose Mr. Thaksin. The protests started with the military seizing power in a bloodless coup, while then Prime Minister Mr. Thaksin Shinawatra was out of the country in September 2006. Then, in December, 1 year later, Thaksin's allies win several democratic elections under the People Power Party banner, which led to anti-Thaksin protesters. Now, they were known as the Yellow Shirts, and staged protests which lasted several months. Now, let's speak with one of our Thai correspondents, who will be covering the current situation of the Yellow Shirts, who have occupied two airports, one on the outskirts of Bangkok, before moving on to occupy the larger main international airport in Bangkok for about a week, leading to riots on the streets with the police, attempting to control the situation. Now, Louis, if you will.
Right, I have received news that the current situation in Bangkok seems very chaotic. The Yellow Shirts had completely occupied the Don Mueang Airport and the Suvarnabhumi Airport. And not just that, they had blockaded the country's parliament. They stormed the government house. Let's head over there. Now, let's go! Hi, Jack.
Here, bro.
Sit.
Thank you.
Okay. Jack. As we can see, the police have attempted to bring these protests back under control since the actions of the protesters have led to flights being cancelled and tourists being stranded in Bangkok, leading to international pressure from other countries. The leaders of the protesters were soon arrested and were charged with terrorism, a capital offense. So, although the protests were suppressed, this left the country bitterly divided between the two factions. We are here now with a witness to this event. Hello, sir. Okay. Firstly, may I ask which side you are supporting?
I supporting yellow. Yellow.
And
Yellow.
why do you not support Thaksin? What are your opinions on him as a leader?
Okay, thank you, Louis, for asking me so much question. Okay, so the first thing is Thaksin was accused of tax evasion, King Bhumipol, and selling a set of Thai component to international investors. Independent bodies, including Amnesty International, criticized Thaksin's human rights record. Thaksin was also charged for concealing his wealth during his premiership. That's why he was overthrown, and I do not think he can come back to Thailand, and he was no right to govern Thailand anymore in this decade.
Oh, I see. Very good point.
That's right.
Then, have you ever tried to interpret the actions of Thaksin in another way, perhaps into the view of red shirt? You might get a different perspective on things.
Yeah, if like that, let me tell you, Red shirts are delirious supporting Thaksin. They have no idea how to look into the future of the Thailand. That's why they think all in well in Thailand where we have so large, so low dirty leader running the organization. It would decrease Thailand and cause an uproar that would seriously endanger the safety of majority citizens in Thailand.
Oh, thank you, Ajak.
After a few hours with the yellow shirts, unfortunately my co-host has seemingly joined them in their protests. And as a result, he has made this short clip to relay their feelings of dissatisfaction with the Thai government to us. Either that or he's being threatened by the yellow shirts, in which case I'd better dial the police.
Thank you for the question. Because we love our country. Benefit of the country is the main thing, the most important thing. The one who against the king will receive a very, very big punishment. Do you agree, comrades? Thaksin also cheating. He can become government because they pay money, right? The judgment just already that he wrong. Listen, please. Is that right?
Thank you, Lewis. 1 month after the airport protests, Thailand's constitutional court dissolves the ruling party after finding the party committed electoral fraud, and with parliament choosing Abhisit Vejjajiva as the country's new prime minister, the red shirt protests started. At least 2 people were killed, 135 were wounded in riots when anti-government protesters clashed against those that were supporting the government. In February 2010, a year later, Mr. Thaksin was found guilty of abusing his power and authority, and a month after that, on the 12th of March, red shirt protesters took to the streets, pouring onto the streets of Bangkok, and basically trapping everyone in their houses in an effort to topple the Thai government. Now we will be back after the commercial break with footage of the red shirt protests that one of our correspondents in Thailand who was present at the time will narrate.
At Honda, we know some people are never happy with the way things are, and are always dreaming of the way they could be. Smarter, faster, simpler, better. What if it had a thing for that? And a that for this? Or could do what this one doesn't? And they make it that way. Because while the old one was good, things can always be better. We like those people. They think like us. Introducing the best Honda Civic yet. The redesigned Civic Hybrid. Civic Sedan. And Civic SI. Made possible by Honda.
Nice cars. Honda Accord. It's too expensive. Can't afford it. Well, anyways, back to topic, I guess. Sorry about that. I was looking at a car commercial, which I found especially eye-catching. Now, back to you then.
Hey guys, so around 20,000 red shirt protesters railed in Bangkok on the 14th of March 2010 and staged riots on the streets that resulted in at least 90 killed and nearly 1,900 wounded in a series of street clashes between demonstrators and security forces, which culminated in a military crackdown. Central World, Thailand's largest shopping mall, was torched by the red shirts in the final days of the 2010 protests. So let's see some footage from the red shirt protest in 2010.
Well, no, you're not looking at a past video. This is September 19th and it's the return of the red shirts here in Bangkok. Today is the 4th anniversary of the coup that ousted former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra. And as you all know, he is a big supporter of the red protesters. So today they've come down to Bangkok to voice their support for the former Prime Minister, as well as let the government know that they're still seriously ticked about what happened in May, and they are definitely a force to be reckoned with.
mouthful. These protests lasted for months on end, with gun battles breaking out in Bangkok's Lumpini Park, where red shirt protesters gathered by the thousands. During these protests, at least one foreigner was killed as security forces charged into Lumpini Park in the largest offensive on protesters since the demonstrations first started. The government was soon forced to introduce a curfew in order to maintain order, threatening to fire indiscriminately at anyone who leaves after that curfew period. However, the military's tactics has clearly violated human rights. The tactics proved effective, and the demonstrations soon died down, with 24 red shirt leaders put on trial on terrorism charges in December. I have a friend who is a neutral party in Thailand, so I would like to go and meet him and get his input on this matter.
I think that much of this is due to the fact that they couldn't cope with the change in leaders of the country. Based on these actions they took, I believe that the charges are depicted accurately, as they cause too much damage and dismay to the country as a whole.
I see. Well, as a neutral party, due to the actions of the red shirts, everyone was given a curfew time. Do you think that that's a violation of human rights, even though it has succeeded in calming down the wave of demonstrations?
I know. Of course, it has violated human rights. I mean, who goes to sleep according to the curfew these days? It's really an inhuman idea that had been implanted by the government. Although I must say that the demonstrations have died down, and I feel more secure to go out to the streets these days. I even feel safer at home than I used to. So I salute the government for relying on the course of action. I personally do not mind staying at home at night, but I can think of a whole of people that would not stay for a curfew being set up, as their life basically on starts at night.
I see. But how do you think that the red shirts have gathered their supporters, even though they are the ones supporting Thaksin, the one many claims to have betrayed Thailand for over his greed?
Supposedly they have their ways, such as reaching out to Thailand people through means of social media. As a matter of fact, I know of a Thai Facebook page that is created and run by the red shirts. They do use these means to communicate and organize things like demonstrations and gatherings.
Alright, Andrew. Thanks, but I have one question.
Thank you, Jimmy!
Recently, we have found that the red shirts have used means of social media such as their official Facebook and Twitter pages in order to spread the propaganda of their cause and to send their message throughout the world. Yellow shirts have also resorted to similar means of communication in order to gather, to plan their protests, and to spread propaganda of their cause. This has shown that while social media can mostly be used for mundane purposes such as interacting with friends, family, and loved ones throughout the world, it can also be used to plan protests, stage gatherings, and various methods of spreading propaganda are also possible while using social media. So, this extensive use of the media has led to the protests in Thailand becoming a hot topic worldwide. And that concludes today's special headlines about the divide in Thailand between the red shirts and the yellow shirts. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great day.
Okay, start 1, 2, 3.
Shall we do this?
Are you coming? You go in the toilet as well.
No, Andrew, you stay in for only